Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. On behalf of Interior Health, we would like to recognize and acknowledge the traditional and unceded territory of the Silk Nation, where we live, learn, collaborate, and work together. This is Research 2018. I would like to welcome Victor Espinosa, the Vancouver Island Health Authority, who's presenting REDCap 101 for the Interior Center. Hello, Victor.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. Very important and interesting experience to share with you today. I'm coming today representing the DC support unit and AHSN for the efforts to create and support data tool, which is REDCap. So this is our presentation, and we are following this idea. So let me start with this presentation. With the steps that we will work on. I said this is a presentation for REDCap on behalf of BC AHSN and BC support unit. I want to introduce very quickly to REDCap and describe a little bit the process for joining and using REDCap for your research project. Some of the factors and features that are very helpful for designing a project, the process for data collection and management of the project, and live capture demo. Very good. Just to give you a flavor of that. So, who we are, because it's an important thing. These services are offered through this partnership with BCCN, the name is there, and BC support unit. Children's Hospital, BC Children's Hospital Center for Clinical and Epidemiological Education, and Health and Population Data BC. We are the organization supporting this initiative. And this is an affordable access obtained financially by BC AHSN through all the membership across the province. And the reason for doing that is clear. Is the need for some infrastructure and some management to provide REDCap services, a long experience that we want to share. And sometimes some organizations do not have, or even some researchers do not have the resources to set up put a person in place to work with that in some time and make it available. So the idea was to extend these services for all researchers. REDCap stands for Research Electronic Data Capture. It's based data platform, important, and I will talk about that, to create and manage databases and online participant surveys. It is a platform provides a secure, standardized data management tool with high levels of privacy, any features for management and storage in a safe way. Okay, so what is REDCap? Well, REDCap was developed and it's still in development by Vanderbilt University for use by universities and non-for-profit organizations across the world. There are about 120 countries that use REDCap, and there are almost 3,000 institutions, like one agent using REDCap. There is a consortium that represents all the institutions, and we work together to engage and collaborate and share experiences with it. And really, this is a strength. What is the importance of this? The important thing is that this is a extended tool that is here for good. We will not be here in some years. We will retire, but REDCap will be here. So that's important for research. So that is a long-term commitment. Okay. And why to use REDCap? One, we they are used to use Excel sheets, maybe you do our own data on Access or things like that, or even program development. So why do we need a REDCap? I really like to think on REDCap as a big template that a lot of functionality that for any project that is set up there, immediately available all these set of functionalities or features that are very time-consuming, expensive, or difficult to do by our own, and it's like reinventing the wheel in many ways. And a huge template is also very flexible. You design many different projects to accommodate almost any research project for that issue. As I said, it's web-based, to show that you don't need to install anything in your computer. Information at the same time is stored here in a server, which is in Canada, in PC, so it's secure. There is the direct entry in different modalities, data entry or as a survey. We can talk about a little bit more. It's a collaborative and centralized environment because it allows to participate several organizations, some people at the same time in different places, but all information is stored in one place. And that's why it's access for collaboration. It's very customizable, as I said, and it's very fast and flexible to design and implement. For and design a research story that has all the questionnaires considered and designed. I would say that in a week you set up your own project. And it's to any different situation. It changes at any time. It's very accurate. It includes and promotes the use of data quality to really record the information you want. If you need a date, you can say very quickly that the field you want to enter is a date or a number or a drop-down list or a set options for a checkbox, these kind of things that are useful at the very end. It is always, even though it's very powerful, we have to consider that REDCap is a data entry tool. Online, very interesting and useful reports, but it's basically a collection tool. So the thing about that, that for additional analysis, increasing efforts, it connects and exports to different statistical packages. I do statistical analysis, and I love REDCap for many reasons. One is this. But if you export not only the data, but the metadata to do an analysis, and you, instead of having zeros and ones, you have the appropriate code names and the appropriate labels, so all the analysis makes it much more and it's easier and it's faster to present and used to interpretation. The other part that I want to emphasize is the security. User authentication, which means that you have to have a username and a password. We use for AHSN double factor authentication. I just did that one. And all the activity that is there is logged in all the trade. I will talk about that. It is stored with high IT policies and top data. If you are part of the business support unit and is a research project, is here. And we include training, support, troubleshooting, and of course the storage apart from the service itself. So this is an important part, and we are a team of people collaborating. This is another example of the philosophy of REDCap to provide this. The next part is, well, okay, I'm interested. This is something that may be working for me. am I eligible? How do I request a project and access REDCap? Well, this is free of charge for any research project is patient-oriented. If we are approved or pending, and that's a question that we have usually, we can start working with you if you don't have the RED approval. But at the time that you are going to start collecting real data, we need to have the approval in place. But we can work and talk about design, give you access, you can start designing your project, and then get ready for the real thing. You can access, as I said, free of charge if you meet the definition of patient-oriented. If you don't need that, but it's a research project, there is a one-time 500 fee service for all the facilities and the support that you get. It's a service for any research across the province. And then, how do I know if I have to pay or not? How do I know if it's a patient-oriented research? Well, the definition is that it has to be done in partnership with patients, or it answers research questions that matter to patients and aims to improve healthcare. So, questions about that, or you think you can clarify, you can approach the business support unit in our website. I will explain a little more details to know if that's the situation. What are the services that are accessible to you? Is the creation of a project in the REDCap form with some description of the investigator. Give the authorization for user access in a project to do that and have access. It's important to know that the access is per project. And a security for everyone, you don't see other projects, they don't see yours. An important part. And it's given by the specifications of the investigator. You get up to 4 hours in person or very, very frequently remote REDCap support or training for your team. We'll assure you that you have a secure environment for all your data that is yours. We provide the hosting services. We also keep updates on REDCap or any other pieces of software that is needed, like the language or this kind of thing that we have. So, how is that? From other things, there is the link to request a REDCap project, or you can get from the website, bcc.ca/REDCap. The registration is here with you, so you can share it if you want. It's also a learning recorded, so you can access that in any or contact the organization. After you will receive a service agreement, having our services, you want the agreement if you agree that, and you need to create a top data BC account to access, because it's a request. Part of the security is that it's internal to top data. When you have that, we create the actual REDCap project, and you into that line, and that you can log in with some projects here and here. So I know what is REDCap. I know if I'm eligible, how I get a risk. Then what do I need to do? What is involved? What is the effort involved? How difficult is this? Only there are different ways, but we train from zero new users in 1 hour. 1 hour is too complicated, or we and then you're ready to go. There are type of projects. Because now there is a mixture, but you can think of classical against longitudinal studies, where you have only one observation point, or you have 0 longitudinal, and you just divide your information by instrument. So you don't need to add the time or the frequency. You just follow an order. So that's something we can discuss if needed. This is a very nice online designer. There is an option that I will describe, but it's an interactive one, and I emphasize that over in REDCap, you don't need to know any program, any code. It's just check and select options, and you build your own instrument, your own project, and you are ready to go. There is something that is branching logic. It's very simple. You show or not any question, give conditions from a previous or several previous questions to show or not. A typical you ask or you don't want to ask how many births you have had if you are a woman. So based on the answer on sex, this question or not. And the very complicated if you need that. But if you that, for example, in a survey, is that you make a small survey, a string survey that is easier to respond rather than a long one. For example, there are many applications for that that are useful and very convenient. There's also the possibility to download for your own project already prepared instruments. And there are more than 1,000 instruments there. And it includes a huge variety of instruments. For example, there is standard instruments to evaluate anxiety or quality of life or for abilities, many things. You can just search by word and you will have that. Or if in the literature you already have one that you want to use, it's a possibility that is already there. And if it's not there, we can request that and start adding that. It's a very important part. So, generally speaking, I will mention a few details on this, but in the app you create a project, create instruments, you test them. That is all in what is called the development phase. When you go, you start getting data in production, which is only a status in REDCap that protects your data. In production, to prevent mistakes that affect or make the data, REDCap protects them against all human beings and then make it more solid. Here you can make changes offline, and then while approved, they can be added to the project. Then, when you are ready, after collecting all your data, the phase in between is the one, and you are ready to export all your data, both online or offline, and even make some checks on data quality. Use the project. There is one of the most important screens in REDCap at the very beginning is to set up your project. Once it's online, the left-hand side is more important because of all the functionalities that you can do. You can see the project set up like a checklist of all the tasks that you need to do in order to have your project ready. And it's that, just a check off. If you don't check them off or nothing happens, it's just for you to know that you are making some progress. I already mentioned that. On the left-hand side, it is divided. The first part is really the navigation part. Then the action is to enter or review existing data. The second one is the previous one, and it's as large or short as your own activities needed. They are defining the user rights, and at the report that you can build easily for review your data. Project, and it's just examples. As I mentioned, there is a list of instruments. Every row is a different instrument. You can break that by some ideas, some topics. For example, this is the pre-screening survey, the participant information survey. It's one of the standard questionnaires, the participant morale questionnaire. Then the data at the end of the study, and data just for watching. This is just an example. But you see 5 instruments that you can enter and start one by one, and that works well. But for example, if you have several visits and you want to evaluate the participant moral questionnaire times at different points, then you have to move into a longitudinal, and you see that this questionnaire is applied in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and as you go into the completion data, for example. So that describes more accurate the time process, and it's here because it's a repeatable instrument. So to design your instrument, I mentioned there is an online designer. You also can, and you can do that a little bit. I will recommend to download the dictionary, which contains all the definitions of 8 questions. But you can work in the designer. There is a launch of the. You can click over the name, and it will take you to the questionnaire. The box for each of the questions, and if you click in the little pencil that is there, it's not my example, there is a pencil there. You click on there, and you open a new window that has all the components for a question. And you just click and select one or enter the description of the label, what you will read, a short for the variable, some options, and you are good to study questions. No programming, as I said. You have text box, the usual ones, B1, no box, and more choices, radio buttons, drop-down lists, check boxes if more than one questionnaire, specific options, and more specific ones at the bottom. Also, there are calculated fields. You can calculate, for example, the difference between 2 days or time or any other even very complex calculation. For example, for text fields, there is several possibilities that you can describe to define what kind of answers you have, which is important for analysis. You can define a date or date time or a year, an email, for example, a number in general, a postal code in Canada, so these kind of things. They are very useful. The option for each of the questions is these little 2 green arrows, which means a short if or not, and that's one of the questions. Actually, that's an example. How many children do you have? Or things like that. No? So if you can condition any questions to show or not based on other questions. The REDCap shared library is what I said. You just click a button in the beginning to add a new form, and just the bottom there is the first options on a long list of questions. You see 27 pages for selecting. You can type a keyword or a name or a disease or something, and it will come some of these things. Okay, so I design instrument. I know what is that. How do I collect data? A little bit about that. So from this typical form, the question number 1, you can see at the beginning, for example, there is a drop-down list. It's a box with a little arrow that you can go down. These also radio buttons, circle ones that you check one of those. A little bit more below is what is called a matrix. The questions with the same possible answers, they are presented in a matrix. It could be in a form of data scientist. You directly to REDCap, you are a user, and you have all the things to do, not only enter data, but also maybe create a report or check users' issues. Or you can send that to a participant. They don't need to log in, they don't need to have account, and they enter the information that pertains to them. This is what is in the side. In the script, there is 2 big modalities, and again, there are different of between anonymous or non-anonymous. Depends on the intention and the rights that you have for this project. It can be completely anonymous, post a link, and anyone that wants to answer can do that, or send specific invitations to participants, and you can track who has answered what, or you can track only who has answered, not what. Things like different options. Once you collect the data, certainly the reason is to analyze the data to see what's there. It has improved much. It has very nice and very powerful reports that give you all the possible cases that can fulfill criteria. The reports are very custom, very easy to do. Again, you don't really need any code abilities to prepare a report, and you can do that very easily. With several steps that I will show you in a moment. And you can export these reports into Excel or statistic packages, the flavor you want. In particular, I use what is called data quality checks. We recommend that every question, as much as possible, you can select what kind of question is, and possible if you select a range, minimum, maximum, or some conditions, in order to enhance the situation, of course, the question. And then this data quality check, you can check for specific errors or missing values that you can check. I use very much the last one, incorrect values for a calculated field, because they can change and you can check that are correct. Or missing values, you can check that. Or missing values that are required. So, because you may have done some changes in your design that can cause some of these problems. And you can identify those ones. And then there is an audit trail that checks every activity that is done in REDCap. This can be exported into Excel. So there are several filters. So the audit trail presents when it happened, who did that, what was the action, and some important details, even values that were changed. And you can filter by type of activity, by user, even by record, and by range of time, what's happening. For many reasons, this is really important, and it's an expensive part, but it's, as many things I have mentioned, given in REDCap. So it's very useful and very powerful tools. It has to be a person that has the control of the project. We want to empower our users to do all needs, and we want to be the project manager at least. This one is the one that is has the right to give rights to the other people in the team. And are very highly customizable. And you can set rights, you can define roles. For example, that free site coordinator, reviewer, PI, and give them these rights according to the role. And you can, each instrument, you can define if they have the read and write rights, or even not access, so they will not see even the instrument. And these rights apply to all the projects. So if they want to run a report, they will run the report only the information that they have access to. I will show you very quickly. I will check time.
Sorry.
We are good.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, try to make a live REDCap demonstration. It's very simple, but just to give the flavor to our audience of what REDCap and how it works. So, I can some examples. As I said, and I will talk about this in these examples, there are longitudinal studies. For example, one time you do what women call that the baseline, an initial session and intake form to see if they try for our story. Then a second time for follow-up visits and maybe a pre-op story phase and operation story. For example, you have several observations, several time points like that. You can specific time or no, depends on your design. As well as you can have, for example, online surveys, questionnaires. You can have an evaluation survey of the quality of life for a family and youth. For many other reasons, we have for satisfaction, and we have for measuring, as I mentioned, different mental health concerns, things like that, and you can then out. There is also something that is coming in 2-3 years, modification REDCap, which is repeatable forms. You can have several forms repeat over and over and over as many as needed. One is here, medications. Also, for example, for family members or siblings, that you can enter information for member and repeat this information. So there are very good examples that are very useful. In the modification, there is also repeatable events. For example, you can ask, as I was mentioned before, certain validate every time a patient comes and you want to do that, you can read that. But in the example before, it was in week 1, 2, 3, and 4, but you can do that unexpectedly. So you can, every time they come, because some patients come more often than others, some patients come 10 times. So a repeatable event is the same. I repeat questionnaire every time they show up. Okay, when it's retrospective chart review, you can review your patients with certain disease, and you can select information for anyone in a range of age. In this case, what you can do also is something that I mentioned much, but you can collect information on different treatments, taking them into arms and groups. It can be defined by randomization, that is also included in REDCap. So you can have people that are screened, they consent, and then you randomize them, and based on that, they are assigned to different groups, in this case, 3 ones. And you can even schedule the visits for each group in different times, and it needs to be the same. It can be more or frequent, or you can ask different instruments for the group. REDCap can manage all this. It's a kind of complicated or sophisticated situation, but it's common, it's possible in research. REDCap can do that. In the bottom, an example, it starts going down the number of instruments and the performance and the events. This is only showing the first part of the baseline. Okay, let's go to some very quick examples to see that. I will start with this. Hopefully, I still connected. Yeah, I need to connect. Give me a second because I have to do the double authentication. I will start what is happening. I'm going to log in here. It's a password, it's a passphrase, so it's a little long. And then I need to get a number on my account, and I fill it. So let me check. Bear with me. Before I click, I will open my account.
Make sure you're logged in.
Yes, because I will click on this.
Similar line, it's a dual authentication system, similar to Interior Health has. So you log in and then you're prompted the 2-step verification. So you're prompted for the system to send you a message, and then you're able to receive that message.
Into my email, number. Got my number. No. No. I need to wait for getting the message.
In between two health authorities here.
Yeah. Okay.
Or those are the blockers. Along the way, if I was yes.
Yes. That's true. Okay. I haven't asked. I have to ask for it. Otherwise, I will never get it. Okay. You know, sorry about that.
And as go along, for anyone on the line, just feel free to enter your questions into the WebEx chat box. I'm sure Ken has already mentioned.
Okay. I'm in. Okay. Thank you very much.
One-time code, so we won't need it.
I only have 2 minutes to get in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So the basic demographic demo, the page where I can add or select an existing record. I will pretend that my page is ready, and I will enter my first case. So let's say that this means okay. So I'm not enter here, but this thing that I would like to highlight is a typical questionnaire. You see different types of questions, text box or bigger ones, and not box. These are validated, they are expecting something. This is the format of an email. So let's take the if I don't enter something like this, it will not work. It automatically does. This is not correct. I just to at least have some degree of that is the right way. Below this one is given all the time. You can select today's date, or you can select a date in the calendar, and you can move anywhere fairly easy. I can say, for example, first August, and that's what it is. This has a calculation, which I can see the calculation. The calculation is from date of birth and today, which is a privilege for today's date. Let me select just to make this happen. Let's say. You see, that's another thing. This calculation, I didn't enter the correct number because I didn't know. Okay, so the kind of validation that we have. Automatically, it creates the number of years of this person. This only one option is available, or a down, that you can select any one you want. Check relevance, this kind of things. So this is an important one, and these last questions may jeopardize a little bit at the beginning, but it's very helpful because this is a status of the content of the form. If we have completed, let's suppose that all information is complete, I can select that. I save this, and it gives me in a graphical way the status of my form. It says that it's complete. Code is here. It's like the street light. that is a very helpful thing. I will go back just to show a little bit more. There is another feature here that is lock the data. If someone else or the same person review is correct information, you can lock that. When you can exit, you see that apart from the status, the lock, which if you don't have the right, you cannot modify it again. Have the right, you can unlock it in additional step and then modify the equation. This is just to protect the data. Okay. So let me go back to my presentation.
Go to the one down.
Yes. Okay. This was a very simple form, one time and one form. Let me jump into next one. Do the same. I will add another case, but you see is the example that we were talking about. We support 4 forms: demographics based on data, data, and condition data, and several events: the time enrollment, and 3 visits, and a final visit, and we select any of those. This allows me for visits and visits to enter the same instrument 3 times. I don't need to design 3 instruments. Same instrument is used 3 times in different times. That's what it is. So let's check this, for example. Here, there is a series of questions. Let's guess that this was done week 1. I will not enter any more information, maybe just to show what it is. Yes, no, it's a yes, no option. It is the same. I will put this as unverified just to show the difference. When I exit that, I have this data entered, and if I jump into here, exactly the same information, but I can enter that another time, that week, visit 2. And these answers could be different. For example, this time would be no. I don't know what I'm saying yes or no, but that's an example. That is just incomplete, just to show this. And my record home page, which is the summary for each of the participants, each of the subjects, I can progress on this one. I don't go this just to show the difference, but we are using the same instrument because this is a longitudinal project defining events. That's a difference between the other with the other one, and that gives me this flexibility. So, on to the last one. This is a bit different. It has a specific instrument with a survey. So this is a different example. Let me see. I think no, I will not be able to do this. I need my mail active to get the invitation.
Right.
So I cannot do that because, sorry, we didn't consider this complication. Interior health is blocking me because I know interior health is good, but then I cannot send me the invitation. But I can do something. Let's enter again some information. We have to fix this.
You put my email in there, maybe I can.
No, because it will be the same. Well, I can do that, but here, and you will open all this here. If you want, we can do. If not, I will just open the questionnaire.
Sounds good. We can trade the ball for WebEx, but it might be simpler if you just open the question.
Okay, no, then it's good. Okay. I will just do clear. It's you, B-E-H.
That's right.
Okay. It is
Holly.Bueller@Interior Health. CA.
Interior, EH or Interior?
Interior. Yeah, health.ca.
So what I'm doing is to enter this information for a new participant. When I save this, because of the design, there is an invitation sent. That is automatically given by the design in REDCap that because this is automatically done. We can check that if you want. Let me see. That is there. You see the login here, and
you want to pass me the ball.
Yes. So you see, I have this invitation sent right now. So what I want to do is to pass a control to Holly, which is here next to me. What's not sure is I make presenter. Okay, I will make presenter Holly. And now you will see in a moment here on screen. And open the message.
This message, Medican tracking. And I'm here.
Okay, sure. I can do that. Thank you. Okay, I will make it a little long video just to see. So,
are you saying?
Yes, she's saying.
Are you going to affect those? Yeah.
Okay, this is on my. I was using the other mouse. Okay, anyways, so she got the invitation to enter a medication. There is an example. I will enter Tylenol, the dosage, 225, and see the response. It is submitted. This is a form by itself. I close the survey, but if another medication, I have the opportunity to test the survey again to select the next medication, let's say Advil, with this different dosage. Here is also, it looks a bit different, the same form just with branching logic. Depending on the medication that you select, we show the dosages corresponding to that medication. So this is a repeatable instrument with some branching logic. So submit that, and I will do the same. And I can say the story again. I say that it has been sent 2 times. I will again the same, but once I select the next and last medication, ask me for the appropriate dosage medication. So then she will also there. But then you use that. And if you are done, you just forward on that. Thank you. Changing laptop. Video presenter again. I'm presenter. Okay, I will share my screen. So you can see my screen. Please send me a question, any one of you.
Yes.
Okay. So the third example that you can see, and to complete mention, or I have talked about these different things, but I want to go over this example, list of features, different ones. Your study is one that is common. Specific dates, let's say baseline visit. Visit 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and 5 years. You can that to see when is the next visit and have this control on that. You can do double data entry if you need that with data comparison tool. Well, it's double data entry, okay? Which is called double data entry. You can add, to prevent contamination of the data, you can add any comment related to why you enter a value with a little field comment. So, for example, you can say if 7 is true, say yes, if the true value. Okay. There is also a file of very important files that are useful for the service, for the station, like that. You can attach very important architecture. You can create that architecture. For example, if you have besides research. So where you have different participants and they are collecting their own data, they can keep only the information from the other data. I'll show you the recording token. I mentioned that you can randomize tokens within a study. You can use also for the storage queue, which is your technology, that you can see all the stories that are assigned to you because you can have more than one. You can get service notifications or who has responded every time there is a new respondent. Some users get that.
I have a note for the folks on the line. Could you please make sure you're muted? I think you've got some music coming through. Thank you.
This is the last page. We can also automate the invitation by the one that we showed you, and also reminders for the participants that have been responded. I showed you the repeated instruments and events. There is the version for REDCap is allowed by ethics to use in a mobile, and an API feature to connect information with other applications. For documentation on REDCap in the University of Everett. There are also tutorials, very important ones. There is the link again for request a project or to close account here. This is all that I have to say today.
All the little glitches of our blockers.
We managed to adapt the environment. Thank you much. And if any questions, we'll be happy to respond or discuss anything on that.
Yes, feel free to unmute your line now and ask Victor any of the questions that you might have. As well, feel free to type in chat box also. We're able to see in the room if individuals would rather chat that way. Yeah.
This one?
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. I always have questions for you, Victor.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's fair if I ask them now. One of my questions actually, so for someone who's put in an application to have a project through the AHSN REDCap instance, in our situation, we've got perhaps multiple people who will need to access that. So in terms of the project being created or given on AHSN, that's a submission to AHSN via the form that you presented. But in terms of additional people having access to your project from your team, does that request also need to go through AHSN, or is that something by way of being the project lead, I can add that role for them?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, it's a two-step process. First of all, any of your participants has to have their REDCap users, they have their POP data. Mm-hmm. So because of that, they have to follow the same request as the first one to request a POP data account. Okay. Once they have that, you can, have to add them to REDCap to give them access to that. And when they have that part completed, you can assign them to your project with the access you want to have a specific role. So yes, you need to be involved in the process just to follow up and make it complete. Okay,
perfect. Okay. Thank you. The question I actually had was about the the surveys like promise and quality of life, different types that they're actually embedded within REDCap. Are those all free for use, or some of them licensed?
Yes, that's for free.
Okay.
Yeah, about that, I'm part of the committee for the consortium, and we discuss every time there is a proposal for a new instrument offer. One of the conditions, or one of the priorities that is available for free, and we have the permission from the author to implement that into REDCap. So yes, they are. And just to be completely sure, you can check that when you download the instrument, that you have the conditions, and there is the statement that is for free. I have to say it's no cost.
Okay.
It could happen in the future. There are some interesting agreements with companies, for example, that they have a long list of instruments that are interactive, different from others. You cannot see because they are protected, but also because they have a high level of branching logic. They have to be used the way they are. Or many of them, you can modify them, but it's not advisable that because they are standard instruments. You have to pass the same way and the same thing. So the promised ones that they are based on number of questions. You are considering your first questions, then you stop very quickly. With 3 questions, they know if you have an idea or not, let's say. But if there are some cases, yes or no, then it goes to 12, 15 questions. But all is managed by the instrument. All these examples are for free. And you can have anytime, every time you download one, it will say.
Thank you. Yes. Anybody else have any other questions on the line?
Let me check in. What's the thought? Okay.
Okay, hearing nothing, I will say a big thank you to Victor for coming all the way here to present with us in person. It was so great to have you. And for everybody joining us virtually as well. And we will have this recording available online at the end of the week. Questions, please feel free to email the REDCap email that's up there, or you can email the Interior Center and we can direct you in the AHSN team.
Yes, we're happy to be in touch with you, to help out our any researcher. I said we are a team of different people. As you here know, it's not only all Island Health, but people in Vancouver, with all the institutions that I mentioned, that we are here to support you and wish you great.
Well, very much. It's very appreciated. And stay tuned for more IH Research Week 2018. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.